All right, guys. Rap Lizards here, signing in. It's been a minute. I was really looking forward to recording again. We took a long break from recording. If you're just finding us, we actually are a podcast that really nerds out on our favorite rap albums. Check us out. I'm sure if you're tuning into this, you like rap music. We do too. But this week, we got the just horrible news that kind of we were all waiting for from the previous week that the great DMX has passed. We're recording this a few days after because we just didn't have time to record the day he did pass, but we just wanted to give our thoughts and send our prayers and wishes to his family. It's a truly huge loss.
It's like the way I put it, right? Like right before, like in our, I guess you call it a pre-show meeting. This dude was a titan. He was a titan in the hip hop industry, and it wasn't everyone's like. And I'll be the first to admit it. Like, was he the greatest lyricist of all time? No, of course not. But when he brought it, the motherfucker brought it, and like he exuded hip hop in every fashion. Like he was just he was the man. He was DMX. He was DMX. He's like, there's not that many artists where like you could just like say the name and like you get an emotion. You know what I mean? And I feel like you hear DMX and you get pumped up for whatever reason, like that, among many other things. But it's just a great loss.
For sure.
Yeah, guys. I think with DMX, it's almost like I didn't think that DMX was even up for discussion for us. I didn't think of it that way. I know he was. I know you guys had added DMX albums to our list of albums to talk about. I did not, because I thought of DMX as kind of the like he frames hip hop in my mind, right? Just like he frames the genre, helps define the genre. Not even up for discussion in a sense, right? Like.
That's Can you elaborate on that actually a little bit? I know this isn't like a. There's more something we do in more episode.
Points to you guys, sure, of course, but these are obvious points to you guys. He was in some of the films or the film in my mind that defines East Coast hip hop and like.
Yes. And Gary, what film would that be?
I'm talking about Belly, of course.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Belly. That's like the Scarface of the late '90s, right? Left such a mark on me. I know it left a mark on you guys, and the music, right? When I think of DMX's music, I think of his pop music, but in these last couple of weeks. Had the opportunity to listen to some of his other stuff and see some of the humanity behind this guy who's like a symbol and kind of have helped draft the rap music that we're listening to today.
The humanity is a really good point, Gary, because like I wouldn't say it's a rare quality because like it's a quality a lot of rappers have, right? Where there's a persona and then there's the human, right? And I feel like with DMX's persona, like that wasn't him. Like from a lot of accounts from a lot of people, like he was actually a pretty like a decent human being and a pretty nice guy. Like he had a family, he cared about his family. He had a few kids with a few different women, but as I learned in the recent days, like as when he was in the hospital in the coma over the last week before he passed, he made sure that all the women in his life got along. Like that was an important thing to him, which is not something that's always a priority with people who have children with multiple women. But like his mom, his fiance, his ex-wife, and another one of his baby mamas were all like sort of a tight knit group, especially in the week leading up to his death, unfortunately. But they with the prayer circles, with the getting people to pay tribute and everything like that, and just being there for him, at his bedside, like that's a quality that I was pleasantly surprised to learn in this last week about him. I knew from what I've heard, I knew he was again like just a good person and just overall in general who's been through some shit. But yeah, I didn't realize that, I guess, about like how important family what was to him. It's just that was a cool sort of revelation.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I learned about DMX the person, more so this couple of weeks than ever, primarily through Busta Rhymes' Instagram,
Yeah.
which is what I love to follow Busta, and it turns out that they had a really close relationship, and that DMX the human had just devastating amount of depth as a person. And I say devastating because of what just happened, but this guy was really deep, had really deep personal relationships, and was a great father apparently, and it's like none of these things should be a surprise, but none of these
No.
things crept into my view of DMX through the superficial way that I just knew him from his music and his films.
And unfortunately, there's a third element that we all know him from, which is unfortunately probably the thing that more of the country and the world probably knew him from, and that was his issues and his demons, which I am not obviously not shitting on him. It's like it was clearly an issue that he had for a while with drugs, and I found out yesterday. I guess I didn't realize this, but the first sort of taste he had at his drug of choice was crack cocaine,
Mm-hmm.
and the first taste he had was an adult that he looked up to that was was responsible for him. Just like so I forget who exactly it was, but he laced a blunt or he laced something of his when he was 14 years old. And I found this out because DMX I guess he did Talib Kweli's podcast, I think a few months ago, and he broke down in tears and basically saying like, how could someone do this to a child, especially a child that looked up. You hear things like that, and like this isn't like just a person who like drugs is in their lives and they don't care, and like they have a don't give a fuck attitude. Like no, this is a guy who has clearly been wanting help. He's been reaching out for help. We've seen him go through rehab several times. We've seen him get arrested several times, and we've seen several instances of him genuinely seeming like he's trying to better himself. But at the end of the day, like those demons just they just kind of they won in the end, unfortunately. But yeah, that unfortunately is that's kind of the third thing. It's like the rapping, the acting, but then it's that other thing.
And I don't want to spend too much time on the tragedy, and it is it is a tragedy and such a terrible story, right? Like such a horrible way to become addicted to something, and that being secretly introduced without your knowing to something like that is just like one of the most evil acts that can be done. I can't really put into words that and just addiction, without getting into detail. I've experienced it. I've experienced recovery, and I've lost family members to it. So it's not just one person suffering; it's
Sure.
your whole family and all your loved ones when you're in the throes of it. So again, my condolences to his family. But I would like to wrap this up with the good memories, and I'd like to really take it back to '98 real quick before we close this out.
I got a few things too. Yep.
Dude, like we were all introduced to DMX's Force, and it's like a force when you first heard him. In '98, when we were all in our formative years in junior high school, and it was mind-blowing. I'd say it was mind-blowing to like he was such a stark contrast to the other forms of emceeing that we were inundated with at the time, and most of it was dope, dude. Late 90s is such a dope time for hip-hop.
Last year of good hip-hop.
Yeah.
I mean, what stuck out to you? What was it that stuck with you? What was the difference? even superficially at that age, what stuck with you?
It's very easy to put it into words, right? So whereas what was popping at the time, Mace and Puffy, right?
The shiny suits.
Right, Jiggy era.
Jiggy era. You also had Jay-Z becoming the king of New York.
Right after Biggie died. Yep, it was.
Was that In My Lifetime, 98 or?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because Reasonable Doubt was like 96. I think.
At any rate, you had Jay-Z becoming the god that he is now, and but he had a laid back style.
Mm-hmm.
Puff, Mace, Jay-Z. You had Busta. Don't get me wrong. Busta was a wild energy, uncontained. But DMX's delivery was so extraordinarily unique.
And it wasn't a gimmick either, right?
No,
like that voice, like it was different, but it wasn't different just to be different. That's how he sounds.
Yeah, if you've ever heard him talk, he's not putting on an act when he's rapping.
That raspy voice is that was him. And I just want to clarify what I was saying before about him like having like the persona versus the human. That has nothing to do with his like style of like speaking or anything. That was real. That was 100% real.
But it's really, I think, what made him stand out among these titans of the industry was his delivery.
Yes.
Right? Very skittish. All I know, no man. Like in and out of really on point time pockets, but without a smooth flow, right? It was get in, get out. Like almost like skittish thoughts in your mind, right? Like come in with the thought, then come in with the thought, then the thought over here. You know what I mean? And it's like that way of delivering your rhymes is very impactful, and it makes we always go back to, if you check out our previous episodes, we highlight MCs that make our ears perk up, like, oh shit, like they're doing something in this unique way that makes the person listening pay attention. And I certainly paid attention, like you, Dion. I'm not going to sit here and bullshit and be like, yo, DMX was my favorite. Yeah. I know all his albums by heart. But It's Dark.
I don't either.
It's Dark and Hell is Hot. And what's the other one that came out in 98?
Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. And that cover, by the way, that is one of the greatest hip-hop album covers ever. Yeah. Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. Just him dripping in fucking blood, looking at the camera like, what? that is DMX.
I remember that.
So dope. Such a great album cover.
Right. And I just think, like, that's what I want to close this out with is, I don't know how many other MCs left such an impact on my brain. Even the ones I listen to more regularly. Like, DMX is a singular entity, right? I never heard another MC come remotely close to sounding anything like him or spitting. Kind of like ODB in that way. Like, such a unique delivery and way of spitting your rhymes that it's almost uncopyable. Like, I just did a terrible trying to give an example of it, and I can't. You know what I mean? But like, man, he was so dope. He was just so dope, and I just want to reiterate him in Belly, right? Like, Belly is like an amazing movie for many reasons. Sometimes to laugh at, sometimes to just enjoy the spectacle of like a music video director. There you go, making a full-length feature film with all hip-hop artists and like bad acting except DMX.
So
Nas
and
T-Boz. Oh my god, I
so
love
bad.
T-Boz, but
the guy who makes the call, the guy who makes the call with the glasses, eating the banana. That guy.
In Nebraska. I don't like that shit.
I don't like that
shit.
No, listen. You know, that movie is incredible for a lot of bad reasons, but not DMX. He is captivating in that movie.
Like, it's not just that he's the best, clearly the best actor in the movie. He actually is a good actor in the movie. Like, I'm not saying he's like, up for an award or anything. But his performance was actually quite enjoyable. If you go look back in that movie, again, you got T-Boz and Nas's acting to contend with, but yeah, the X made that movie, and the end was great. Yeah, it was dope. It was dope. Tommy.
Yeah, and we're going to walk away from this, right? I don't know about you guys. I can only speak for myself. Again, I'm not sitting here fronting saying, like, this was my guy. This was the guy that I 100% will always listen to. But when I heard that he did pass, and even when I heard that it wasn't looking good, I felt like I lost a piece of my childhood. Like, like it hurt.
a voice of your childhood, basically, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I think I have so many memories with mutual friends of ours from junior high school, you know, and just that are centered around Rough Riders anthem, and like that's impact, man. When a multitude of memories from when I was 11 or 12 years old are directly linked to a song, that man made an impact on me, and he will be missed.
Yep.
And you know, I just, you know, I see every one of my favorite MCs posting pictures of them with him and stating just how much they loved him. And I'll wrap with this. We were lucky enough to get him on Drink Champs. You know, he sat down for a Drink Champs episode with Nori that got released recently, within the last few months, and it's great. It's great. Highly recommend it.
And also check out the versus battle too. Yeah. Like it's the versus battle with him and Snoop was like, if you just want like just some nostalgia for a couple hours, just watch a video, or Spotify as a playlist if you just want to listen to the songs. But that versus battle also was just pretty much a few months ago. So yeah, we're lucky we got. I mean, not to sound crass, but luckily we got a decent amount of content. But before we lost them, so you know, at least there's that. You know, I'll take it.
Let me be cheesy and say the New York Times obit was really eye opening. Right?
That's like, not cheesy at all. I didn't read it. I will check that out, Gary. Thank you.
It was eye opening. Sarah pointed it out to me. Like, hey, did you know about DMX's wife? Not really. That was really eye opening.
Excellent.
Well, I just wanted to say thank you guys for tuning in. You know, this is just our quick little send off to a rap legend. May he rest in peace. Keep an eye out for the remainder of our season 1 episodes. We're finishing up editing them. We got a Tribe Called Quest album coming up. What else we got, Dave?
We got Fuji's The Score.
Lytyrix for all you underground heads, coming out next.
Yep.
And then after that, we're going to get started on season 2. So thanks for tuning in. We love you, DMX. Signing out, Rap Lizards. Peace.
Peace.